Good evening from Little Creek Bee Ranch. I wanted to share a beetle tip with you when we're battling the small hive beetles and trying to get them under control. My last strategy in my bag of tricks is to use a beetle trap up high, so we're going to talk about a beetle trap. This is a, what do you call, plastic sandwich container. Just a plastic sandwich container, and in the middle here we have hot glued in one of those flavored teacups. We just hot glue it down the bottom, and what we're doing here is inside this cup goes the moth trap mix that you can find on our website, littlecreekbeeranch.com, and go to the bee recipes page, and there's a recipe in there for the moth trap mix. It's just apple cider vinegar and sugar water, maybe a little piece of banana peel in there. And then on the outside we'll go mineral oil or vegetable oil, whatever, just below the holes, not really high. And what I did, I used sandpaper and roughed up the sides so the beetles could grab a hold of it. And the hole diameter is 3/16 of an inch. I just put 3 on each side. You don't got to have a ton of holes. Just 3 on each side. But how do we set it in? So the lid goes on. I won't push it down because it's hard to get off. But so the lid goes on, and we put them. I like to put them on top of the spacer, or use a spacer either way. If you want to keep the bees out of it, the bees can't get in 3/16 holes. Okay, so this is hardware cloth. It's 1/8 inch. And some of those beetles can get up through there. Maybe some of them are too fat too. If you don't like that, you can just set the trap to the side. Take the spacer and you can turn it over. Whoops. We'll take our trap and set it on top. So that you're going to have an 1.5 inch spacer, something like that. And you can set it that way. Kind of get double duty out of your screen. So the screen width, let's see, the screen width is, what does that look like? Almost 1.5 inches, something like that. 1.5 inches, just round it 1.5 inches. And you can put that to the back. Now the idea here is, this is just an example, but the core of the bees are down here in the brood box, and the beetles don't like that. The beetles, they don't want to be harassed with a cluster of bees. So the beetles play high. The beetles will be playing high. So if you lay in some wintergreen grease in the rabbit, this is the rabbit area, right here's the rabbit. And it'd be the back side I would do this. This is the front side because the emergency hole is here. But if I laid in wintergreen grease right here, the beetles don't like that smell. And if I give them a trap, push that trap back, and if I give them a place to get away from the wintergreen, guess where they're going to go? Into the box. They don't like to be harassed by the bees. So if you turn the screen over like this, the bees can't get inside, but the beetles can't hide up here. The bees keep chasing them around. And so now they got the bees after them, and they got the wintergreen smell after them. They're going to get in here. They're going to get away from this. You could even push the trap further back. That's a sanctuary back there where the wintergreen grease is not. So you can put your beetle trap opposite the wintergreen grease. Now the wintergreen grease is up here to deal with the mites and beetles. It'll kill some beetles, but most of them are going to run. They want to run away. So now we've got a sanctuary for the beetles to go to. They don't know what's coming at them. They're just going to crawl in the hole because they smell that apple cider vinegar in there, and in the hole into the oil. So when you do this, maybe you come back in a week or 10 days. I don't like to put my lid on super tight because the bees are going to propolis. They'll work some of this over. If you see, there's propolis on there. They're not going to do anything. You don't got to press this lid down super tight, but just kind of just barely set it on so that you don't have to fuss with it, even one-handed. That you don't have to fuss with it to get it off. See, even one-handed doesn't want to come off. So if you just barely leave it on there, set it in there, put your wintergreen grease back here in the rabbit, put on a spacer. Now the beetles want to go play high, but we're going to trick them. And they're going to want a sanctuary, and the bees are going to run them around, and they'll chase some of those beetles in there. Okay, so I hope that helps somebody. From July all the way into November, I get lots of calls and emails about beetle issues, lots of beetle issues. No colony of honeybees should be set in the shade. If you set them in the shade, you're going to have all kinds of beetle problems and issues. So you can go to Walmart, get you some of these sandwich containers. See if I can get this off. I can't get it off now. Get you some sandwich containers. Whoops. Hot glue a cup in there. It's just a little flavored teacup. And in the middle of it goes the moth trap mix, and then vegetable oil can go in here. I wouldn't even come up to the hole. I'd just come about halfway. And, you know, I'm even going to do some of this because I've got too many beetles that I don't like running around. And you just work at it. It's not, there's no one silver bullet answer. You got to pull some tricks out of your hat to deal with these beetles. Okay, so the lid goes on, then the screen goes on, and you can manage that. That's really kind of like July to November kind of thing, particularly September, October, November. Okay, so 3/16 holes. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, on each side. Rough up the container. It'll get propolis all over it. The bees even try to propolize it down. Stick it to the top bars. Put it at one end. Put your wintergreen grease. I put it on the back end. This is a sanctuary for the bees, for the beetles, and the bees are going to chase them around, and in they go. Makes sense? Let y'all work on that. You don't got to have any more holes than that right there. That's enough holes. 3/16 diameter. I apologize if I made an error to somebody. I made a boo-boo. So there's a good trap that you can work on. It's cheap and easy to make, and get those beetles worked out of your colony. Hope that helps somebody. Enjoy that tip.